Independent retail business can mean so many things these days. A brick and mortar store, an e-commerce business, a maker's online shop, a booth at an antique mall, and more. No matter which category you're in, Kathy Cruz, a fellow retail business owner and retail educator, will teach you how to market and manage your business efficiently so you can spend time doing other things you love. Welcome to the Savvy Shopkeeper Podcast.
Welcome to episode 51 of the Savvy Shopkeeper Retail Podcast, Salary Goals of Micro Retail Business Owners. I'm your host, Kathy Cruz. Well, today is Cyber Monday when I'm recording this, and I just want to say that I hope you all had a beautiful Thanksgiving and a really successful Small Business Saturday, and I hope you're still having a fantastic weekend of sales. I really do. Based on conversations in the lab and master shopkeepers, it seems like people were really out supporting small and shopping local, and that makes me really, really happy. So my intention for this episode is to follow up on episode number 2, and that episode was titled, How Much Do I Need to Make in Annual Sales in Order to Pay Myself? In episode number 2, I pointed listeners to an online calculator to determine how much revenue they would need to generate each year as retail business owners in order to pay themselves their salary goal. I used the calculator to also gauge the actual salary goals of shopkeepers in the Savvy community. First, the calculator I created and shared was and is completely anonymous, so I can't see who used the calculator or any personal information about the person using the calculator. The calculator is still active and available, and it's part of a series of free resources I offer in the Shopkeepers Academy. These free resources aren't available publicly. They're only available through a special link, and if you want to access it, just make sure you visit the show notes to this episode. That's savvyshopkeeper.com/episode 51, and you'll get access to the free resources link where you can sign up and also use the calculator that I'm talking about, or that I talked about in episode 2 and I'm talking about now. The second thing that I want to mention is when I use the term micro business owner or micro retail business owner, and this is referring to retailers who are either solopreneurs. If you've never heard of that term before, you're a one-woman or one-man shop, and there are lots of one-woman shops and I think one-man shops too, within the people that listen to this podcast and in the Savvy community overall. Sorry, you might have just heard me hit my microphone. This is me getting passionate about what I talk about. So you're either a solopreneur or you have less than 6 employees. This covers most members of the Savvy Shopkeeper communities. Not all, but most. I know there are some members in the lab and in Master Shopkeepers who have probably 12 employees or more. They have large square footage stores, and they generate way more revenue than many other members. And I want to add that having these members, it's really invaluable because of their hiring knowledge, their overall experience with running a retail business. But the majority of Savvy subscribers, listeners, and group members can be categorized as micro retail business owners. And then the third thing that I want to mention, what's interesting is the data that the calculator has revealed so far. If you've been listening for a while, you probably know how much I love numbers and analyzing data. Yes, it's the nerdy side of me. And I'll do that boring nerdy stuff, like create the calculator and decipher what the data means so our community of shopkeepers can benefit from that information. And that's why I do episodes like today's. But first, I want to start off with the shopkeeper shout out. And that's Kathy of the Nest on Maine, and we will be sure to link her website in the show notes, and that's going to be important, and I'll talk about that in a second. But the title of her review, her podcast review, was, I just referred you to a fellow shop owner. Kathy said, I've been listening to this podcast since we were ordered to shut down on March 15th. I cannot say enough how much I have benefited from Kathy's knowledge and information. I am currently in her Master Shopkeepers group, because I just needed to dive deeper into her information and what she has to offer. I just recommended a shopkeeper across the street from me to listen to your podcasts. Yes, the shopkeeper across the street. She carries some categories that I do, but I believe in community over competition. So I have to say that Kathy's website, if you go visit it, and again, we'll link it in the show notes, immediately when I visited her website, it made me want to visit her store. It really captured the essence of her brand, the storefront, what it would feel like to shop in her store. So I just want to give a shout out to Kathy for that because it drew me in. And Kathy, thank you for your kind words, for referring a friend to listen to the podcast, and for being a member of Master Shopkeepers. I always love seeing your smile on group calls. This episode is brought to you by Flowdesk. Email marketing shouldn't be so hard. That's what I thought for years when I struggled using another software program to design and send emails for my retail store. Then Flowdesk came along. Now it's so easy to design and send beautifully branded emails to our customers that convert into sales. I also use Flowdesk to send the Savvy Shopkeeper newsletter. Flowdesk is a woman-owned company, and the software is in beta, which means they're still new and building some features, but personally, I have loved it. If you have an email list of over 1,000 or more subscribers and you send emails to your customers pretty regularly, you know the monthly price for email marketing can add up. At this time, Flowdesk is offering unlimited subscribers and unlimited emails for $38 a month. But I have a special offer for you. You can have unlimited subscribers and send unlimited emails for only $19 a month. To get half off the monthly price of $38, yes, it's only $19 a month, visit savvyshopkeeper.com/Flowdesk for a special link. That's savvyshopkeeper.com/Flowdesk, FLODESK. Okay, let's move forward with this episode. It's important for me to mention that I realize every shopkeeper's circumstances are different. For some shopkeepers, they are the breadwinner and their livelihood depends on the store's revenue. For others, their shopkeeper salary contributes to the household, but it isn't the only source of household income. And then for some other shopkeepers, what they pay themselves is really just a bonus or discretionary income, and it doesn't affect paying bills at home. So I get it. Everyone's situation is going to be different. Well, the results from the calculator so far have reflected this. The lowest yearly salary goal was $10,000 a year, and the highest was $120,000 a year. The average was $45,000 a year. So on average, the people that listen to this podcast or read the blog or find me on the internet and then eventually get to the calculator, the average goal for their salary as a store owner or an online shop owner is $45,000 a year. Remember, this data reflects goals, not what they're actually paying themselves. And I've touched on this in the past, and I don't want to go off on a tangent here. So I just want to remind you that these are the goals of people listening to this podcast. So why am I talking about this topic? Well, it's for a few reasons. The first one is retailers don't openly share. Retailers tend to hold a lot of information about themselves and their businesses close to their chest, so I find that conducting surveys or using anonymous information can be really helpful because it gives the rest of us an idea of where other shopkeepers might fall, or it gives us a benchmark to work with. I know this information isn't validated and it's not a scientific study, but they're really helpful. I can't tell you how many people in the Shopkeepers Lab or Master Shopkeepers appreciate this kind of information because it really gives us a guide. Having a benchmark or having an idea what others in our industry are feeling or experiencing is really, really insightful. So number 2 is to really know what is the average retailer salary. And $45,000 actually falls in line with studies that show most retail business owners in the United States have an average salary of $50,000 a year. So when that goal is set, it actually falls in line with what's actually happening. Now, I can't tell you that average salary of a retail store owner of $50,000 means that their store is generating $500,000, $1 million, $200,000. I don't know what they generated. But at least it gives you an idea of what a typical retail store owner is making in a year. Number 3 is salary mindset. And I know that many shopkeepers are not happy with their salaries. Don't get me wrong, most of us love what we do, and some are happy with what they pay themselves. But I have a pulse on micro independent retail store owners, and I know many of you want more. And if you want more, I'm rooting for you. And that leads me to number 4, which is don't be afraid to want more. According to an article by I think it was catalyst.org, earlier this year, the average salary a woman makes in the U.S. is $45,000, while the median a man makes is $55,000. Now, Catalyst is a global nonprofit working with some of the world's most powerful CEOs and leading companies to build workplaces that work for women. And I'll be sure to link the article in the show notes, but I thought it was important to point this out. I know that many of the listeners of this podcast, and I think everyone so far in both the Shopkeepers Lab and Master Shopkeepers, they're all women. So I mostly speak to women. And if your goal is $45,000, great. But if in the back of your mind, you really want to say that you would love to make $100,000, I want you to own that. There is nothing wrong with wanting more. Hell, there's nothing wrong with wanting to pay yourself 6 figures. Is this what you really want? And I think many of us do, but won't admit it or don't feel it's possible. So I just wanted to make sure that this was point number 4, is don't be afraid to want more. This episode is brought to you by Gusto. Gusto is a payroll software system for small businesses that makes it easy to add new hires, calculate and withhold taxes, process payroll for employees and contractors, and stay compliant. Even better, Gusto is affordable for small retail business owners. If you're looking to hire and you're overwhelmed by what to withdraw, how to calculate it, what paperwork you need to file, Gusto makes it really easy to manage payroll. The system does it all for you. If you want more like time tracking, workers' compensation benefits, or other benefits for employees, Gusto offers those services too. We all learned in 2020 the value of payroll employees versus subcontractor employees, particularly when we applied for federal assistance programs or local and national grants. If you know it's time to build a team of payroll employees, or you're frustrated with your current payroll provider, and you want to try Gusto for 1 month free, visit savvyshopkeeper.com/Gusto for a special link. That's savvyshopkeeper.com/Gusto, Gusto. The next one is, well, if I've identified what my goal is, and maybe I will actually say what my real goal is, how do I hit that goal? And once you have a goal, then you have to create the mindset and the plan to hit that goal. And that's why episodes like number 44, the retail profit pie, are so important, and why I plan on talking about mindset much more in the future. It's because I want to help shopkeepers hit their goals. But for today, it was more about what are the goals? What are everyone else's goals? Where do you fall in line with that? What do you take into consideration when you set your goal? I just wanted to kind of have a conversation on this topic first. And because these episodes are only 20 minutes, I can only fit so much in. In episodes number 1 and 2, I talked about treating our businesses as just that, a business, and not a hobby, and certainly not a jobby, which I recently heard. I wish I could remember who I heard that from. You know, when you work 40 plus hours a week and you don't see a dime of it in your pocket, that's a job. That's really a hobby, because you're not profiting from it. But whatever your goal is, I want you to feel empowered to speak it out loud, not shy away from it or feel ashamed of it. Just as importantly, I want you to feel that it's possible. And I know that's really hard to do. So I thought today would be a great opportunity to at least plant that seed in your brain. One final thing, if you haven't heard, I'm offering post-Black Friday deals in the Academy. And I say post-Black Friday because as retail store owners, we're so busy trying to get our customers to shop with us, and we're so busy getting ready for Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, Cyber Monday, and all of that, that this weekend tends to get away from us, and then we don't get to take advantage of offers. So instead of me running a Black Friday deal, I figured I would do it after the weekend passed. So I'm currently offering 2 deals in the Shopkeepers Academy. I wasn't going to open Master Shopkeepers to new members until 2021, but I'm happy to announce that the application is open and the price has not changed, so go apply now if you've been wanting to join. I'm also offering a 6-call package deal on one-on-one coaching. I've never offered this before, so if you've been wanting to work with me one-on-one, go to the Shopkeepers Academy and book these offers before they close at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday, December 6, 2020. If you have any questions at all, I think you probably all know by now, you can DM me on Instagram. My username is @SavvyShopkeeper. I'm happy to answer questions. People reach out about podcast episode ideas, questions about things, questions about which path they want to take in the academy, and I'm always happy to answer. If you want to see the show notes to this episode or find links to anything that I mentioned, you can visit my blog at savvyshopkeeper.com/episode 51. Until the next episode, be savvy and boss up.